Hello everyone, how you all doing? So I'm visiting a friend of mine, Adam, today, who's a personal trainer, and he has been my PT for a few years. I'm not training at the minute, but he's pretty much been responsible for my own gains, and he's just opened this new gym with the Pro-Fit guys. So Adam runs this one, Pro-Fit Bolton. We'll go and have a chat to him and we'll find out what he's actually done for me and how this is important. So yeah, I'm just going to walk in and see if he's around. Just going into the reception area just so we have a little look around. Oh, there's a gym going on in there. Oh, here's Adam, by the way. So what I'll do, this is Adam, the man that is responsible for transforming lives.
That's a nice compliment.
Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll get him mic'd up and we'll have a walk around, all right? So we're just going to have a quick look around and then we're going to go and sit down and have a chat in reception. So we're going to walk through here. This is one of the gym areas. Adam, what is this?
So this is the personal training areas. These were purpose built to accommodate semi-private personal training. So you have one trainer per pod, and these were built purposely just to deliver personal training in them pods. So we have 4 personal training pods in here. So we can accommodate about 15 people for 3 trainers.
I've trained in here.
You have been in here, Andy has been in here.
It's quite good. There's a lot of racks and
there's some dumbbells in the corner reserved for Andy, the 40s over there.
Oh yeah, the big ones.
They're for you, mate. And you can get them in there. But, yeah.
Well, you know what I always find as well, because obviously when we're over at the other gym, and I remember when we was talking about this kind of thing, how to kit a gym out, they never had enough racks. And if you have a look round here now, these kind of racks and frames and things, they're so universal. You can do everything. You can do squats, you can do chest, any kind of movement when it just holds a barbell like that. And also you've got the kind of pull-ups and it's amazing because in a lot of gyms they never have enough of this. So this is the nice reception area that Adam's just done. When we turn around now, what you'll see is it's got some fancy stairs in, which are nice. I never know where you've got the upstairs, haven't you?
We've got the upstairs team training area, which is a much bigger version than a PT area.
Yeah, and you've also got some rooms up there that are they look like office space. So I know use them for like yoga.
Yeah, we've got yoga in there. We do a lot of our nutrition coaching in there as well.
Oh yeah, like the.
So each member has 2 consultations or sit downs with a trainer per month.
Right.
So that's what that's used for.
I like that because in a lot of gyms, you know, one of my criticisms of a lot of gyms is they just ignore diet.
Yeah.
And to actually do that and have it's almost like getting.
It's incorporated in the model of what you do. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's not just that you don't just come and train. You get your nutrition and looked after.
Adam's been a personal trainer of mine for about a couple of years. And he's actually responsible for all this, you know.
Do it again. You got to get it again.
Yeah, have a look at Adam's. They're massive.
I did some bicep girls before we did this. Right?
Oh, did you?
No, I didn't. Shut up.
Get a pump on before we. Yeah, so Adam's been a personal trainer at where my office is, just over the road. He was a personal trainer for Pro-Fit. They had a contract there. Pro-Fit. As I know, they did the personal training and then they invested in a new gym in Preston, which did quite well.
Yeah.
And then, tell me about what happened here.
We was always a commercial gym-based personal training company. A contract was sold to Total Fitness in 2019, and then what was left of us, we were always sitting on plans to open not just a gym, but a health space that delivers everything to deliver health, performance, and whatever it is for general population. So it started in Preston. There's a big site in Preston, which is well over 10,000 square feet. And then when we got the opportunity here in Bolton, obviously I jumped at the chance to be involved. We was always planning on doing one in Bolton just because of the location. And here we are. So we opened in November. So here we are now.
I'm just going back to where we met. So where my office is, which is I've obviously got the tech business separate to this, and it's over the road just on Middlebrook. And Adam was training in the gym, and we used to see each other and how you doing, and then I think I came to you one day because I had a problem with my calf, and it was a long start. It came from a slip disc that I had 15 years ago, and we talked about a training plan, and I started training with you.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things in life were self-taught, and I was self-taught in the gym. I trained when I was like 18 with a training partner, the old bro split, going in 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, you know, absolutely hammering it as a young lad, trying to get as big as possible. And I realised with Adam, you know, just some basic things like I was ego lifting and, you know, not good form. And you really took me to the next level. I mean, it's what I needed, you know. I was already starting to sort of figure out the diet myself through my own research. And I know we talked about diet, but you really, I think you got hold of me and you really humbled me, because I was there like, you know, trying to get the highest back squat I could on a 1 rep max. We talked about diet and I just nailed my diet.
Yeah.
And
because you're more consistent than most. Obviously, when we first met, I think we went back and forth in the gym, but I think when we had our first just sit down, I could tell you probably, what's the word, more intelligent than most. You knew what you were doing. I could tell you were, we were talking about books and things like that, weren't we? So you could say that I knew you had your nutrition in check. I knew you knew what you were doing with it. You're humble. You take advice if you needed it, just like anybody would. And then it's just then assessing where you're at with your training and what your goals and needs were. And then how often can you train per week? I think a lot of people make the mistake of, I can train every day, or I can train 6 days a week. And it's like, okay, well, let's take a few days off and let's be super consistent with 4 days as opposed to 6, or can we do 2 days as opposed to 4? Like, I'd rather someone train 2 days a week for a year consistently than train 4 days a week for 6 months and not see them again.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get more results that way. And then obviously you can build on top of that. And so I think we established a routine, didn't we? It was like 4 days a week with an upper lower split.
Yeah. I think we added in occasionally when we did a 5th day. It was like, we call it the middle day.
Yeah.
So the idea with the upper lower split was you'd hit all major muscle groups twice a week, which is a really good practice for consistent growth. And then we added in an extra day occasionally, and it was a recovery day, and you might do like some arm isolations and various things.
Yeah, I think that was good. And I think even thinking about our split now, what we did, I'm always in one to like look back over it and go, what would have changed? And here's a few things that would actually change, even though we got benefit, because, we still lifted heavy, didn't we?
Oh, like the farmer's walk stuff.
Yeah, we still hit the trap bar deadlift and squatting.
Yeah.
There's still things will change, but I think that extra day you kind of earn your isolation exercises, and I think a lot of probably males as well, like we hit isolation before we hit any compound movement. So
I covered this. So I covered it in a chat with Chris, and I made a little short, and I had a bit of a laugh about it where I said I was talking to my friend Chris, and he's got a different approach to training. He likes the old Mike Mensa stuff, which is great. And I've kind of incorporated a lot of that intensity, but I think you need a balance. Anyway, what I said was I was taking the mickey a bit. I talked about the gym. Yeah. If you're ever in on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, you get the young lads coming in, right? Yeah. And the first thing you do is go over and start doing arm curls, you know what I mean? What the heck are you doing?
Of course you do.
And it's like, I mean, you've got to stay out of it, but you feel like going over to them and saying, look, you're wasting your time there. You should do that after you've done all your big compound lifts or your key moves. Yeah. And it's mad because like the training split that you did for me, when we first did it, I was like, coming at this from a bro split perspective where you go in and you just do chest and you'd absolutely batter the hell out of your chest. You do flat, incline, decline, flipping 2 types of flies. You do like 20, 30 sets on your chest. So it was just dead. Yep. And I didn't know this, but there was a lot of junk volume. Yeah. And when we started training, the minimization of it was actually the strength of it, because we go in, upper or lower, we do 3 or 4 key exercises, a lot of warm-up, which I never used to do warm-up, and all the warm-up's fantastic, because I never used to do that really. I used to think the warm-up was a light set. Yeah.
Which is more like a ramp-up set to build in,
Not the stretching and the actual warm-up exercises that you need to do beforehand. But we do like 3 or 4 sets, and probably a bit of warm up, and then maybe 3 working sets, 4 working sets max.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're not doing a lot, but you're fitting it in within an hour with all the warm up. So there's only about 40 minutes maybe of actual lifting. And it's amazing if you just do that consistently weekly. You don't have to do a lot, and it's amazing how little you need. You don't have to be in there 2 hours doing like 30 sets. And
no, I think a lot of the volume and probably where people get it from is from like advanced bodybuilders who have to get that much volume in, don't they? You know, we can go into, you know, whatever they take in terms of steroids and assistance, and I think bodybuilders are obviously the greatest people at knowing how to build muscle.
Yeah.
But if they was to go back to when they first started, there's no way they did that amount of volume or that many reps and sets. It was always simplicity first.
Certainly not. I mean, certainly not 6 days a week. I mean,
No.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was training 6 days a week, twice a day.
And I think the thing, I always said this on the bro split, because we've all done it. I think most guys have probably done it, but
that's where you start.
Yeah, you go. You got to train
and
chest.
Where do you start? No, you don't. You start arms first.
You do arms first, yeah. You do arms first, and then calves once every 6 months. So you get one opportunity, don't you, with a bro split?
Yeah.
So say, for instance, you do, obviously it's International Chest Day on a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So everyone does the bench press. So say you do chest day on a Monday. You kind of write your chest off with that much volume, and you're really sore, and then it's next week again when you hit it again. So with normal people like yourself as well, you had a bit of travel in there, busier work. If you miss that session, it ruins your whole plan, because as we know as guys, you're going to go, actually, I was due to do squats on Tuesday on my legs. Actually, I prefer chest. So you end up, if you miss Monday, you end up doing chest on Tuesday, then you've missed your legs, and all of a sudden your whole plan is thrown off. So I think one of the things we did was it's knowing how often you're going to train, what's going to go in terms of your lifestyle, and what, like, you had focuses of what you wanted to hit, and we always went back and forth saying, actually, we can add little bits in here and there.
Yeah, I did have goals, I knew exactly the physique that I wanted and all that kind of thing. So I did plan. And you've got the various arguments. You've got the people that think you need between 12 and 20 sets per muscle group a week for growth, that kind of hypertrophy way. And then you've got the 1 set to failure gang that think they can train once a week for an hour full body, which there is some training there. There is a technique. If you do it right, you can. But instead of like that, then you got the other people like the bro split, right, where they're trying to do all 20 sets in one session. So rather than doing, let's say you're going to take the lower end, 12 sets per body group, like back.
Yeah.
I would rather split that 12 to 20 sets in 2 sessions a week, because you get better recovery.
Yeah.
So just do 6 to 8 sets, or maybe 10 sets at the most on one day, and then wait a couple of days on your next upper and do the other bit. So instead of trying to do it all in one day, cut it in half.
Yeah, focus it 2 times.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you want to touch on,
you get better recovery.
You get better recovery, yeah. And I think one of the things we can touch on here as well is about, we're still human beings as well, so we're not purely just looking at building muscles. So you've got to think about our lifestyles and how we live. So I think I said this to you, when I first started personal training, the advice was pull twice as much as you push. So for instance, if you did 3 sets of 10 bench press, that means you might do twice as much as that for pulling. So this is more of like posture and general health and looking after your joints. And now even more so, we're more sedentary and probably looking at phones and sitting at desks. So we can use training to help improve our postures and joints as well, which we incorporated with you. So we did 2 or 3 much volume as we did on the push, even though we was isolating some of our chest stuff.
I agree.
We still balance it out in that way.
I must admit, when we first started on that, I thought I wasn't doing enough on chest, and I kept saying, when are we going to do some vertical?
Yes.
It's like, well, you don't really need it if you get a bit of incline. And it changed my whole paradigm, really, because you're right. I mean, the back needs a lot more work, and it goes back to the one of the bro split thing, particularly the young guys, even my brother said this. He thought, oh yeah, I'm getting quite good, I'm curling these now. Like, oh God, it isn't that joint that matters. It's this big joint up here that goes in all different directions that matters. And this big hip joint here that everyone neglects so much. You know, and sit there doing like leg extensions to get big legs.
It's a good,
you know,
the biggest joints in the body.
And they can't do a hinge. and it's that kind of stuff, you know, where it's looking at what actually matters.
Yeah.
And if you think, what is a rounded physique? It is a really strong hinge. It's a really strong back. It's, you know, these young guys, they just want a big chest and arms, don't they?
We used to joke, didn't we? And I think someone said to me years ago, and I can't remember who it was, and I wish I remember it was, I'm not impressed by big chest and arms. I'm impressed by big glutes and a big back.
Actually, yeah.
And if you see a guy in a gym with a big back,
like a wrestler, you know.
Because I think back training requires more intelligence and like, because you can't bullshit back training, can you? You can get away a little bit with pushing and bench pressing,
weighted wide bar chins.
Pull-ups, like, you know. You can't, like, a well built back and glutes is like, you know what you're on about, and you're obviously trained correctly, and that's just going to lead over to like better health and life, isn't it? As opposed to, because I think the mistake a lot of guys make as well with chest is they train too much and they get this like really rounded shoulder, and then they feel smaller because they've not got the shoulders back and looking better. So it's that sometimes just by training more back gives you that more of a kind of better posture and physique, so you look a bit wider anyway naturally without actually adding anything to the frame.
I mean, posture and physique, I mean, just even standing up straight is something that I learned to do. You grow 2 inches, you know, just standing up.
Just standing up straight.
And you look better, you know, you look more confident. And I just consciously always try to stand upright because your physique looks better, you know. And I think you're right though. Like if you're training correctly, and your back's going to give you that kind of V, and then you need the shoulders, and building shoulders is, you know, you've got to do a lot of laterals, and you've got the push. But you want all that.
We hit that pretty early, didn't we?
We did.
We did your big compounds, but we added some isolation on the shoulders to give you that bigger, kind of wider. Because you're saying you wanted that. I've always had good shoulders, though. If I think about it, I've always been good with back and shoulders, and legs. But my chest was always my weak point. Long arms.
That's what Adam said. You claimed I've got long femurs.
You've got very long arms.
Long arms, so it's like, you know, like if you're really short arms, you can bench press.
We never see a bench press champion with long arms, do you?
No.
So it just never happens, does it?
You tell us about your history, Adam, because like obviously you got into this. Well, you was a rugby professional.
Yeah, I played rugby. So I think at about 9 years old, 8, I started watching professional rugby at Salford. My older brother was playing. He's 3 years older than me, so we went down to watch Salford Reds, as it was then. I was never really into football that much. Like I always kind of, it was a bit soft for me. So I was a bit like, we played it on the street with friends and things like that. But when I saw rugby, it was like, wow, like it was almost like some sort of gladiatorial like battle I watched. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I never knew what it was, and I just got obsessed with it. And obviously, what I saw on the rugby field was bigger guys. So I become obsessed with rugby, and just like any kid, you just become obsessed with that type of stuff. So I couldn't wait to get into a gym. Even at like 9 or 10, I was doing press ups and things like that. And I just followed it through. At about 13, I was sneaking into gyms and things like that to say I was 17.
I was always told that if you started training too early, your bones would bend.
Yeah, there was one study on that, and it was a really bad study, wasn't it?
It turned out to be nonsense, didn't it?
It's actually the other way now, where you actually go, apparently.
Well, have you seen? Yeah, but have you seen it? You see online, don't you? On some of the channels where you get these kids doing like snatches and cleans and all sorts of stuff, don't you? You know, just like with huge weights.
Well, I think it's great. Like your kids and obviously mine as well. They do a lot more dangerous stuff than just picking up a weight properly.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, jumping out of trees, gymnastics.
Well, yeah, we used to, that's stopped now, but we used to climb trees. And
all the stuff, all the impact you're putting on your body doing that. And we were fine, but somehow doing a press up or dumbbell. I get like obviously loading too much, so people can get into trouble. But that's like so obviously I was lucky enough and privileged enough to earn a contract, and I went through a scholarship scheme in Warrington Wolves, and then I I dropped out of college after a year. It was just, I don't know, something was in my head saying
full-time rugby.
Yeah, and I went into full-time rugby, and obviously I was lucky enough to play at Warrington. Went to Salford, got the dreaded "you're not needed anymore." But luckily, I was always interested in training. I was obsessed with it. I'd ask the S&C coaches like, "What we doing?" And I learned how to be a personal trainer while I was a rugby player. So when that time came, I was like, I'll see what's out there in case I need a part-time job. I thought it was just going to be a part-time job, but as soon as I started it, I was like, loved it, and I went from there. I went back playing rugby part-time and actually full-time at one time again, but I've been a PT now for 11 years, so and I've worked in multiple different sites now, so so here we are today. So rugby was always my first love, but then it was the gym and health and
but rugby it's like any kind of professional sporting career. It's got a shelf life, and you have to transition.
And
eventually,
I'm happy
you either become a coach
at a younger age, because obviously I'm 33 now. It was 22, 23 when I got told you're no longer going to be a full-time professional. So I'm happy. I'm glad it happened then, because I wouldn't like to be in my 30s going,
it does happen.
It does, I've got friends, I've got people I know who played even later than they go.
Does it affect them? Next? Like, are they thinking, "Oh, damn, what am I going to do next?" Or do they have it lined up? I mean, some of them, the smart ones, got to be thinking, "Hang on."
Yeah, the smart ones. But I think the nature of the sport as well. I think if I looked at it, it's brutal. Like, you've got to be that type of person who can just get out of bed every morning and run into a brick wall for 4 hours and
get injured.
And do it for 15, 20 years, and then do it with your mate, and then do it on the weekend. So
there's no 50-year-old professional rugby players.
And it's hard to. It's a hard one. It's like the burning the boat stuff. Do you cut off all options and go for it?
I can't remember his name now. The really famous quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. How old is he? Like, is he still
40.
playing?
I think he retired. Then is he 46?
Something like that. Absolutely insane genetics.
He's just done really well. But there's a guy. He's older
skilled though. I mean, he was really skilled.
There's a guy I'll name drop him now called Chris Hill. He plays for Huddersfield now, and he's a few years older than me.
Right. Still going.
Playing prop forward in the Super League, and he does.
Well, he must be big.
He's a big guy. He must look after himself. Unbelievable. So the amount of impact he has on his body and how well he plays. He just.
So I'm going to touch on something now that is super important to me. Obviously, in my channel, I talk a lot about this. And I remember when you said to me, when we were training, you told me my recovery is quite good. Especially for my age. You said your recovery is really good. I could literally do lower, upper, and then just do lower upper again. Or if I had a day off, just one day in between, I'd be back on training lower. And I would say it's my diet. I want to talk a bit about diet, because I know we've had loads of discussions on diet, and there's some common things, the importance of diet. For me, my diet is very much focused around, obviously protein focused, to make sure I get that. But the second thing on my diet is lowering my inflammation. So my body inflammation, when I get my blood tests, it's at the bottom. I'm really proud of that. And I've done a lot of things like strict keto, and now at the minute I'm not on full keto. I just reduce carbs where I can. I still have them. When I have carbs, I tend to time them. So I know the best time to eat carbs is at night, because you top your muscles up with glycogen. So they're available. It takes a long time for your body to digest this stuff. The idea of eating your breakfast half an hour before you go to the gym, and then go to the gym and using you is nonsense. You're using what you ate last night, aren't you? So you time carbs. But generally, I've had focused on a whole foods, low inflammation diet. And I would say that is my secret to how I keep my condition. It supported my training, because if you think about the gym where we used to train, you had lots of clients in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, a lot of them get results, but they don't quite get the results that they want. And you told me about one client, and it was about diet. And I would see people in that gym, I was there for 4 years. I'd see people coming in doing like an hour on a treadmill, literally, every flipping day or 6 days a week, like for years. And they won't look any different.
It's true.
And I would bet it's because the diet's not in check.
Yeah, 100%. I think a big thing with you as well, though, is it's hitting all, like your recovery is much more than, if you think about what you were doing, you were controlling the stress.
Yeah.
You were sleeping well and eating well.
Correct.
Like one of the things we first spoke about was like, I think we started talking about journaling, and and you were probably way ahead in me in terms of your skills of what you were doing with journaling. You taught me a few things, didn't you, in terms of journaling? But stress is stress, isn't it? Like whether it's training, work, partner, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things, like, you run a business, so like your stress could be through the roof, but I think it's how you were controlling that as well.
Yeah.
And how you
I think I've probably got the lowest stress of anyone I know.
You've earned that though, haven't you, with the processes you've put in?
Yeah, I never get rattled. And you know what? I think if I look back through my life, I've been put through some right situations. And I think, I don't know if this is a good thing. I think I've almost made myself immune to it in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now the practices that I put in place, like I have a meditation coach, I focus on mindfulness, I journal morning and night, and I've got this whole routine down. And I've had a lot of business coaching on things like mindset management, negotiation, how to, never get rattled. And I've really got my stress under control. And I think stress is mega important, because if you're stressed, what it does is it messes around with your heart rate variability, which is your breathing and your heart rate. And when they're not in alignment, that's when you're stressed. And you just open yourself up to illnesses. And if you can't sleep, how can you recover?
Exactly. It's one of the things we spoke about, wasn't it, earlier? What's your sleep like? It was good. You could tell you had all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So your recovery was like outstanding. Like you were like, I've got a bit of soreness, but nothing. Like we can train people here, and I have to, if they're a new member, I do have to give them the warning of, here's your schedule for the week. Don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to do loads in there, but in the PT room, but we need to make sure you can get the best out of your membership. So it's like, you're going to be sore, but let's just tone it down a minute. Is you sleeping okay? And if I know someone doesn't sleep as well, or they're still finding the way with nutrition, you don't need to train as hard. You're trying to create that stimulus, aren't you? You're trying to send a signal to the muscle to do something.
Yeah.
Which we spoke about before in the volume. But it was outstanding to see how quick you could recover. Because I think it changed some things, because I just did an assumption of 2 or 3 days on this. It's like, actually I can add a bit more in here.
Yeah.
We're doing calf stuff at one point every day.
Yeah.
It was like add it in. So it was, but that's just how, that's personal training for me. That's like, I can only use what I know, and then when the person comes to me, it's use what I'm seeing, what they bring in, and then you brought great recovery and what you were doing with your nutrition. It's good to see as well, because I think when we first spoke, you wanted to build some muscle, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I was like, and you were doing it with the keto, and we was like, we don't know whether this is going to, can we do it, can we not?
Yeah, with keto.
And you did.
I respond really well to a low carb diet. My reasons for going low carb are not just to build as much muscle as possible, because if my sole goal was just get as big as possible, I would take every supplement and illegal supplement I could, eat loads of protein and eat loads of carbs, because carbs will fuel you better. You're just easier to. But I'm good with ketones, so I actually manage the ketone energy quite well. My body's good with it. But my preference for it is not just to get as big as possible, it's also health. If you've had an unhealthy diet, and like a typical Western diet, you just eat crap and not prioritize protein and loads of processed, it's like the bad carbs and the bad processed foods, the sugars. And if you've had that for a few years, you
most
almost
people
need.
do.
So I did it aggressively with fasting, keto, and I got rid of that, and I became fat adapted, and then now I'm very relaxed with it. I'd say I'm more like Tim Ferriss's slow carb on 4 Hour Body. I eat some carbs, not all the time. I always eat whole foods carbs when I can. Never processed carbs, and I just dial it back. I've got a lot of videos on my channel. I just eat meat and veg, or meat and salad. Just eat that multiple times a day, and you become a beast.
It's an easy way of doing it, like, for people as well. Like, even here when we're doing nutrition with people, we can give you nutrition plans. We can go through all your calories, which is fine, and it helps if people track that way. But if you just say to someone, eat protein and vegetables 3 times a day, fill your boots on it, and eat till you're full.
Yeah. Okay.
You're probably going to be fine.
So let's just like nail it now.
Yeah, like whatever your preference is with proteins, obviously that's the going first, isn't it? We got to get the proteins in.
I prefer lean quality meats.
Yeah,
high
I
quality.
love buffalo meat.
Oh no, you keep telling me about this. I'm trying to find out where your buffalo
farm, Scotland, Kirkcaldy it is. I love it because it's low in fat.
Yeah,
it's lower than chicken.
Wow,
and
lower than chicken breast.
Yeah,
chicken breast is only like 2-3%.
Yeah, it's nothing to it. So if you get lean buffalo mince, it's lower than chicken.
Wow.
Breast. So obviously, if you get some of the other cuts,
I'm usually getting like 5% beef. You know?
Yeah, like I've noticed that, and it's the taste. Obviously, if you want a steak, I wouldn't recommend it as a steak because it's not as nice as a beef. But yeah, I do like the buffalo meat or bison or whatever you call it. But yeah, whatever, we can talk about ethical or whatever you are with.
Well, I like organic where I can, but I think, I've cooked a lot of vegan and vegetarian, and we had a chat about this. I think the problem with, like, you can do it, and you do see all these vegan bodybuilders and stuff, but it's just easier if you eat animal protein. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to be really, really up on your nutritional advice to nail it as in vegan. Yeah. Vegetarian, problem with vegetarians, they tend up eating loads of cheese, and there's just so much calories in the fat in the cheese. Yeah. So you just consume loads of your daily calories.
The easy way to consume protein and with low calories is eat chicken or low. And I think.
Oh yeah, if you just eat like 250 grams of chicken or meat, and you're into less than 600 calories per meal.
Yeah, well, I did it when I first started.
You can have it 4 times a day.
Yeah, when I first started personal training, we at Pro-Fit, we all had to do the diet we would kind of give people. So I ate like 4 or 5 boiled eggs in the morning with some spinach.
Yeah, eggs.
And then it was like packs of ham. Then I'd have chicken and vegetables, and then it was that for like 4 weeks. And obviously I wasn't overweight from rugby, but I dropped down to about.
If you're playing rugby though, I thought you'd be like hammering the bananas.
Yeah, I had like 5-6
smashing them just for like the energy, like six bananas before a match.
We used to all types of stuff.
Loads of pasta.
Never be astounded by how bad the nutrition are of like top athletes. Some of them. Obviously, the top pinnacle have to be great, but if you look at
but what's their activity level? Yeah, they're probably. You think their activity level, what they're actually burning in a day is just insane. I mean, the average person in the gym
not moving that much. Yeah.
No, you don't burn calories really, do you? Not really. They're not doing it. They're probably doing 400 or 500 calories in the gym.
We see it every week. We have a body scanner here, and it asks your activity level through the day. And I always click sedentary. You don't move. Yeah. Because people overestimate how much they actually move, don't they?
We don't do anything.
We don't do any movement.
Like, the only way to lose weight as an average person is watch your diet.
Yeah. You might increase your activity because you're consciously doing it, but there's a big mistake people make. We don't go into it, is tracking exercise through your watch and then trying to eat back them calories. I know you're probably going this on another video, but it's a big thing I'm seeing with activity trackers now. I trained, so I've done 400 calories, and I'm like, you've not.
All the smart watches.
Yeah, and then you try and eat that back, and then wonder why they're not losing weight, and it's just eat better and go from there.
One question I want to ask you, because a lot of people have asked me this question, is let's say you're an average person, you've done a bit of training, and then you want to get a bit more serious, whether hire a PT or whatever. How long does it take to get the physique, build the physique that you want?
That's a good question. Depends on the physique, doesn't it?
Well, it depends on the starting point. But
it depends on your starting point. I think we always see 12 weeks, don't we? We see a 12-week. I think it's a fat loss. you can lose fat at a pretty rapid
in
rate.
3 months, if you're aggressive.
If you're aggressive.
Or you can do it longer, over 6 months.
Yeah, like we have a member here at the moment, and I think he's around 80 kilo. And it reminds me of you a little bit in terms of his dedication to stuff. He just, here's what I'm doing every day. And he's losing 2 pounds a week of body fat.
Wow. That is a lot.
And what's really nice to see is he's keeping his lean mass as well. So
kilo a week, that is probably about the upper.
Yeah.
I mean, half a kilo to a kilo is a fat loss range. If you're doing more than that, I'd say you're probably burning too much.
Yeah, I think so. People
you're in danger of losing
underestimate
some
a pound a week, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you say I've only lost a pound of fat a week,
it's a lot.
What's that in a year? It's a lot, isn't it? It's like, is it 3.5 stone or something like that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think they overestimate what they should do in a week, but underestimate what they can do in a year.
So if you take the average person, they're a little bit overweight.
Yeah.
All right, they're new to the gym. How long to get into a really good shape?
Depends on how much you train. I would like to say 4 or 5 months. I don't want to say 3 months because I want to be a little bit out there.
This sounds a bit salesy now, Adam.
Yeah.
Because I would say, my opinion,
depends how well they want
to get the physique that you really want, decent level, I would say 4 years.
Yeah, that's why I said it depends on physique. Yeah,
because I think you're right. The results you can get in 6 months,
you can lose body fat.
You'll probably sell this. I'll get you like that. I'll turn you nanny in 6 months. No,
I won't actually do that.
But what you achieve I think within a year, you can achieve a really good standard. But I would say the next year you'll look miles better than what you did the previous year.
Yeah, of course.
And if you go another year, and then after about 3 years, maybe you'll get a bit in your 4th year. And at some point, you might, if you're dedicated for years like that, you'll start reaching a genetic limit where your gains are just minimal.
Yeah, very minimal. Yeah.
But
I think it would take. Yeah, I mean, we had a plan for like a year, didn't we?
I transformed.
Yeah, we had a year.
I think I was looking really good.
Yeah.
But I think I look better the second year.
Yes. Yeah, there's a good point to add to your point.
Yeah, and I'm planning on looking better this year. Again. I've been very relaxed,
I know what you mean. It's hard to say, isn't it? If someone comes in, they're very highly motivated. If it's just a body fat loss thing, then
that's different.
It's easier. If you want to build muscle, it's going to take years.
Yeah. Just because the body doesn't grow. How much muscle can you grow a month? Is it like a pound a month max or something?
Yeah.
Or
I did it recently, so I mentioned the scanner again.
Yeah.
In a year, I lost like maybe 1.5 kilos of body fat, but my lean mass and my muscle tissue was like 0.5 kilo.
It's very hard.
And that was 4 days a week training hard, and I train harder than most.
This is why it takes years, because the trend of what do they call it? Gain training or the recomposition model,
body recomp,
where you think you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time. It's a grey area, but technically you can only do one or the other at any one particular moment. But that model is rubbish. I would always start with cut fat right down, and then build muscle from there.
I think if you're brand new, like with you wasn't brand new, you're already at that stage. So if you're brand new, I would possibly say if you've never lifted a weight in your life and you're
but if you're skinny, just
I have seen it with people where they have put a bit of muscle on and lost fat, but they are brand new, like newbie. Like the stimulus is going crazy. But I think I was thinking about this the other day myself.
Well, fat loss is a lot quicker, isn't it? You can lose a lot of fat in a very short period of time, but you can't put on a lot of muscle.
So if you think about fat, it's your body's energy storage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're training with weights and you're trying to build muscle, but you're at a calorie maintenance, but is your body not going to use that body fat to actually try and use it as energy for muscle?
True.
So
if it needs it.
Yeah, it's a newbie thing, isn't it? Like you say, it's a grey area we could talk about all day. So,
well, there are some principles, aren't there? If you're going on a bulk, I always think a lean bulk. Don't go crazy because you just put loads of fat. People think, I'll eat more. I'll just eat more.
Yes.
You can only consume so much.
We constantly checked, didn't we? Where we are you putting a bit too much body fat and should we pull it back?
Because you got to dial it back. Eating more protein than what I don't know, what is it? It's 1 gram a pound in it or whatever.
So
roughly,
from what I found,
0.8.
I could be wrong in this. I'll double check it. So it's on lean body mass as well.
Right,
body
yeah,
mass.
yeah.
So
we get this
you can
wrong.
do your body weight. I think if you're a lot
Body weight's belt and braces, isn't it?
it's hard to do that. So I think in the literature, scientific literature, when you read it, there's been no signs of more muscle gain. That I think it was 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of lean body mass.
Yeah.
This was with bodybuilders. So even if the bodybuilders were eating 2.8 grams, they weren't getting any more muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's still quite a lot. So if you're 100 kilo, if you're a bodybuilder and you're a big guy and you got 90 kilo of lean mass, which is a lot, it's still 200, way over 200, 250 grams of protein a day. So
but what happens if you eat more? You're just consuming calories, aren't you?
Yeah. I think sometimes is it better to, I know what I'm like, if you eat a steak or whatever, you'll feel pretty full. So sometimes it's a good way of
actually,
of doing it that way, because
there's loads of benefits to eating protein over other.
I know I do it if I'm feeling hungry.
Oh, it fills you up.
Eat some protein. I'll feel full now. Yeah, I don't need to eat a.
and it takes. The other thing about eating protein is there's your body has a bigger thermal effect of actually digesting it, so it actually uses more energy to digest protein than anything else.
Like 70% of its use or something like that.
Yeah,
something
I mean, it's another minor gain of you're burning calories just by eating protein.
Eating lots of protein, yeah.
Yeah,
that's why high protein diets we can the most successful diets still and always will be, in terms of if you look at all the diets, keto, whatever it is.
Well, they're all high protein.
And what is.
It's high protein and what's your calories, that's all.
Yeah,
that's
no one's ever made
fundamentals.
No one's made a good physique of low protein diet, have they?
No. But some nutritionalists I've seen advise don't go too high on protein. And there's all these weird studies I saw about, does too much protein hammer your kidneys and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's done with. I remember doing my nutrition stuff, and it was.
But you'd have to eat loads, wouldn't you?
I think if you've got fully functioning kidneys, and
you're fine. You're fine. If your kidneys are not functioning,
then you can pull it back. But it's crazy to read studies, isn't it? Because one of the things I'm glad I ever did was my nutrition course with Mac Nutrition. So you become a qualified nutritionist with it. Now I don't really go around saying I'm a nutritionist, but the best skill I got from that was understanding how to read scientific papers and get out of it. Because I think what the world does now is they get a paper and then they do these mad claims, don't they? It's like, actually, if you read it properly, you'll find out that it's just a correlation, not a causation, or it's you got to look at it like, take your own biases out of things and look at it and go, actually, like if there was a new paper come out tomorrow, what was done really well, and it said, actually, protein's not good for you, you'd have to remove a bias, wouldn't you? Which probably wouldn't happen.
I didn't want to get into this, but there's there are some trains of thought that are trying to get us to eat less meat and stuff like that, and it's a political argument. I get it, or is it let's call it a green? Eat less because there's a whole thought process around consuming natural resources. I get that, and I wish there was an answer for that. My answer to eating more sustainably is trying to eat organic.
Yeah,
I don't really want to. I want to. I think it's organic.
Probably the farming, if anything, isn't it? When you think about it. Yeah, it's very easy just to go and get some meat that's been transported from wherever, and they've cut down the rainforest. But do something about like where I get my meat from, for instance. Like if we've had this conversation before, it's done. The buffalo, the chicken, everything's done on a farm, which can no longer actually grow crops because the land is no longer
right.
So they switched. So
where is that farm?
That is in Scotland.
Right. Okay. So it's not coming from.
Yeah. So it's still coming from Scotland. Yeah. So, but it's in Scotland. So it's
one of my friends in the office told me about there's an organic farm up near Withnell. Past Charlie way up that way. Yeah. I might go and check out. You can actually roll up and get a big box of.
It's organic, and know where it's come from. Yeah. So I think that's I think this is a personal opinion. It's probably not it's putting that effort into your food, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the problem, not just going.
Understanding nutrition, because again, if you are like, if you're not eating meat and you're eating, say, you're vegetarian or vegan, it's a bit more difficult. And the other thing that you've got to watch out for is make it. I would always say whole foods. Try and go whole foods, and you've got to try and get your whole foods. Try and get your protein, and then little things like a lot of people that I see that are eating a vegan diet struggle with certain micronutrients. Like they tend to be like B12 deficient because they're not eating meat. You can see it in the nails, and so you might have to take a couple of supplements to counteract that. You told me one. There's no leucine, which is a key amino.
Yeah, it's a key amino.
Right.
Acid,
so you might be low on leucine. You might have to top up with a leucine supplement or whatever. But we're not talking actual nutrition here. The key is to understand it. I had a period of time where I spent learning vegan keto, which is incredible. You're still trying to get around about 25% of it in a protein source. The fat's easy because I believe there's a lot of good, decent plant-based fats like avocados and oils are brilliant and all that kind of thing. Understanding diet is super important. If you get your diet down.
Yeah, I think where you start with that is like where you're at ethically, where you're at with things, and then go from there. But understand if you're removing a macronutrient, whether it's a protein, a fat, a carb, it's understanding what's that reason remove carbs. They're not necessarily
but you can't fully remove carbs because you need a few.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? You can't live on no carbs, like you can't live on no fats either because it messes with your hormones if you don't. Too low fat diet,
Yeah. Well, didn't the guy who did the low fat diet said he said sorry and whatever for they're like, oh, it was wrong.
Well, I think you see this. So when these people are going for competitions and they're getting elite physiques, like single digit body fat and just look amazing. Like the guys that do this have got the lowest testosterone when they're at that point. Because when your body when you go in a massive deficit like that and you're just stripping back and not eating any fats and stuff, your testosterone tanks because your hormones it's like your body's shutting down.
So your body going, why would I want to?
They look jacked and like they're full of testosterone. You think, they've actually got the lowest. In terms
of health,
And as soon as they refeed, it just back to normal.
I see this a lot, in the industry.
Happened to me. I've tested my bloods and it does it when you're on a cut. And when you refeed it, your healthiest is around 12 to 15% body fat.
You've seen most. Well, I see a lot in the industry now. You see bodybuilders, or you see the rise of HYROX and CrossFit. They're all great things to keep people engaged. But I said to somebody here the other day, and it was, as soon as you make fitness a competition, it's now a sport to win. It's no longer about health.
Okay.
So that's when thing, we have a trainer here who wants to do HYROX. So I had that conversation. Right, you're now being an athlete and entering a sport which is no longer going to be good for you. Technically, we might look healthy, but when I was a rugby player, I wasn't healthy. I ate, I slept, and whatever to play rugby.
Okay.
In terms of my health, I was healthy, but no way I wouldn't. These top end athletes, it's not healthy what you're doing in terms of
not long term.
Doing what your body. So I think that's one of the things I'm seeing in the industry, and probably younger guys, leaning towards this, and you got to be careful. And when it becomes competition, it's difficult.
I've been experimenting, as you know, a lot with biohacking, and that's a lot of my low carb because it lowers inflammation, which lowers the risk of catching a lot of the terminal diseases because they're all based on inflammation. So there's that, and having low body inflammation I think is really good. Now I've always got several goals. One of the issues with biohacking, if you think about longevity, that one of the principles is calorie restriction, which is at odds with building a physique. So if you want to build muscle, you can't build muscle on calories, on a calorie deficit. So you've got to really know how to hack it. It's very tricky. This is why I'm balancing. I could be a lot bigger. I'm already jacked as hell. I'm only messing. But I could be a lot bigger.
Of course,
If I was just focused on and goes back to if you just want to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I want to be super healthy as well. So it's a balance in it.
Yeah, you touched on it before with your nutrition, didn't
Mobility.
you? Yeah, mobility. Yeah.
Good nutrition, good training, good physique, natural physique.
One of the things you mentioned, I think we skipped over, and I think you were going to touch it before. I remember you saying this. When I train or when I eat, you have to be like super on it when you're in a meeting or working. So your nutrition feeds into that. Like
it does.
Like your energy levels. When you train and you have ingest loads of carbohydrates after it, and you're
sleeping.
You just feel tired, don't you? So if you're into a meeting or whatever, you're sluggish and things like that. So that was one of the things I think you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that when I was going through a lot of keto fasting and stuff and learning that, I mean, I passed a professional exam, sort of 2 days fasted or 3 days fasted, not had anything but water. I just felt super sharp, with that.
Yeah.
And you get that with a low carb diet in general. We're not talking full keto here. I'd just say sub 100 grams of carb. Keto's a lot lower.
A lot lower than that.
Yeah. But yeah, it is good. I mean, okay, so what you tell us about what you offer here, Adam? Time for a bit of a plug. Go on.
What we offer here. So when we say gym, we're a personal training centre. So like you say, we have a model which you can train up to 5 days a week. And we do that to ensure results. What I found personally just from being here is how much more results people are getting because we've created a model and a price point that is suitable and it gets people to train more for less. Obviously, I was always a one-to-one personal trainer, which charged probably the top end of personal training fees. So, and
I like that because that's where I came in. I paid Adam a fortune, but I got the results. But it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. So yeah, we're at that point now where you can get a lot more training for your money because we're purpose built to do that. So, we work on we say general population. So if you're not training for a sport, you're being a general and you're a lot like yourself. You want to look good, feel good, and perform at work, be a better dad, mother, whatever that is. Like we have on the wall there, normally it says when you hate your family. And I truly meant that, like when I put it on the wall, when people hear you are family to us. So we ensure your health. We ensure, I won't make you do anything that's going to jeopardize your health or your body. So what we do here, we have small group personal training or semi-private personal training. So like we said before, in the room, that's purpose built for one trainer per 4 to 6 people. We have a team training area which accommodates 14 to 25, which is more cardio and aerobic benefits. And we put our own spins on it to make it more exciting. Like when you think of cardio, you think someone's running on a treadmill, boring.
It's not exciting.
It's not exciting at all. So we know aerobic health is massive for your longevity of life.
I first went on my mountain bike or
something. Yeah. You want to pick something. So what we got here, we got a whole dedicated area upstairs to make your aerobic health fitter, and we're doing it in a community-based environment. The music's on, you're enjoying yourself. Obviously, we have an open gym, and obviously with every bit of members.
Open gym? Is that for just like where people can just do their own?
Yeah, so we weren't necessarily going to have an open gym, but because we had space, we have an open gym where people can come. Obviously, when people are more skilled with stuff.
These are members, though?
These are members, yeah. These are just members. So we wanted to make it a membership-based. We don't want just people coming and going. Yeah, so we have a membership base, and obviously this is all underpinned with your nutrition.
How long's it been going now? It's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, we have been on. Oh God, time has flown for me because I've just lived there. I think we opened in November last year, November 23. Yeah, so it's been open a few months. I think time's flown for me because when you do. So it's been open a few months. So any member who starts, we do a 28-day challenge. So it's the first month, and what you get with that is 2 personal training sessions a week and 3 team training sessions. We do a body scanner to see where you're at in terms of your health and obviously your body mass and things like that.
Body scanner now.
Yeah. You have to jump on today before you go.
Go on, do. See where I'm at.
See where you're at with that. It's highly accurate. I was very surprised how accurate it actually is.
I think the same. As long as you measure yourself on the same machine, it's highly accurate, of course, as an indicator.
Yeah. So it gets down to your body water, and obviously we underpin everything with.
Still, think you need to look at yourself in a mirror. And when you get advanced with it, you just kind of know, don't you? You can just feel it.
That's the same with nutrition as well, though. And you can look at a plate of food now and probably know what's in it.
You have to do it when you go out to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty good going.
Just give me a steak and drop the chips or whatever.
But that skill takes years, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of tracking, and
Actually, I don't need to track that much now. I only track when I'm going on a severe cut.
Yeah. I did it recently where I stopped tracking.
You don't need to. You kind of know.
I stopped tracking, and I just found myself not eating as well as I did before. And I don't track all the time, but I track loosely, so I know my protein.
I pretty much have the same meals, and I know what's
in them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to do. So if you're eating the same thing every day, roughly, I always laugh when people say you eat the same thing every day. But
so, how many members you got now, Adam?
We're approaching up to 50 now. So in terms of members, and we have a fair bit on the 20-day challenge. Maybe 100 to 150 members.
Yeah.
I'm very, what's
it's not
the
bad
word?
Though, 50 in a few shots.
Yeah, we've done really well. And I think it accumulates because once people are here and enjoying it, the referrals start coming in.
Yeah.
Which is, as a business and as just people, it's great to have because I'd rather have more like-minded people and people that do well. So, and like I say, in terms of our membership, we didn't know the people who are going to come in. We did marketing, we spoke to people, but genuinely, like, I'm so grateful the people we have. Like, I love it every single day. The people and like who come in every day and just love being here. It's their, your homework. It has become their place, and like I always say, I've been a part of Pro-Fit since I was 22, 23.
That's a long time. Even though it's changed names, it's the same company.
I always say I've grown up at Pro-Fit. Yeah. They always laugh when I say that. So I've grown up. I'm like one of the dads now to the younger trainers, but so it means a lot to me. Like, it is just a brand, but it means a lot to me. It was a place I went to when obviously I left rugby and I felt probably a bit shit, and I didn't have any purpose. And when I found Pro-Fit, that's why it means a lot to me. That's actual. So
I'll put in all the links for it so you can sign up and link you out to Adam's pages and websites and Instagram and everything too. Sad. And I was just going to ask, where can they find you? Where's the best place to find you?
We obviously have 2 sites. We're in Bolton, so if you know where Bolton Stadium is, we're more or less across the road on Cranfield Road. You can find us on Google, and there you can find us. Then we have a site in Preston.
Pro-Fit Bolton?
Yeah, Pro-Fit Bolton. If you type in Pro-Fit on the internet, you'll find us pretty quick. And then we have a place in Preston, which is on Capital Trade Park, I think, which is... I'm not going to say as big as this. It's a different format in terms of the layout, but the model and everything to say what we deliver in terms of training. So. And
what about online? Where's the best place to find you online?
You can find me online. Obviously, you can find us at Pro-Fit Personal Training, which is both me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and wherever.
What's your handle? Tell them.
I think it is. I'm terrible at this.
Adam Neal.
I think it's Adam Neal Coach. I think it's just Adam Neal. Yeah, I don't think it's many. Just five.
I'll put the link down below.
Yeah, you can't find Adam Neal. Where's my Instagram handle? I don't know.
It is that. I'll find it.
You should change yours,
Why?
I think like something to do with pointing would be like...
Yeah.
Your handle would be like... I don't know.
My Instagram's always on my... I put it on my YouTube.
Yeah, I think you should do something with that. Play on words with your handle.
Maybe. Anyway, thanks for...
it was a pleasure, mate.
The chat, Adam, and it's good to see you. And... what are you going to do now? Do a bit of training?
I have got some training to do. I've got some training to do. I've got some cleaning
I've got to actually get back to the office. I've got a meeting to do. So, everyone, thank you very much, and see you all next time.